See him a beast when he hear that sound like yeah, beat on the beat when he hear that sound like woo. Yeah, bitch and the champ only need one round like yeah, me, I'm a G-Ring, he and it sound like
CFFC 122 right around the corner going down in Tampa, Florida on July 20th. And this man right here with me today is fighting for the vacant flyweight belt, the Badman himself, Shamel Findley. Shamel, my man, how we feeling ahead of the championship fight?
What's up, man? I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling more ready than I've ever been.
It's a big one, dude. The title fight, last time we talked, you were hyping this up. You're saying it's coming soon. You finally got the opportunity. How does it feel like to finally be at championship fight week? It's not fight week, but fight camp, so to speak.
I don't know. I think every fight feels the same to me personally. I feel like every new fight is the biggest fight of my career because it's the one right in front of me, and we all know what wins do in this game. So every win is big. You want every win, but I think yeah, it's just like it's a bonus when like a belt or some type of accolade is like attached to it.
And there you go. You were frozen for a second, but I heard everything. Your face was just frozen and a nice smile. So now that you got the opportunity, Badman Dorziev, crazy name. I think I got it right. But what are your thoughts on him as an opponent?
Man, I think he's one of those guys earlier in my career. I would have thought of him differently, but as I'm understanding the sport better, he's one of those guys that I might not have looked at as like such a threat before. He's good. He's a good fighter. He's undefeated for a reason. But to me, he's not a very dangerous fighter. And what I mean by dangerous is exactly like just what it sounds like. I mean, he's not like putting people away or hurting them or submitting them. He had a couple finishes, but that's not like his MO when I look at him as a fighter. But it makes me respect his fight game in a different way. It's like the guys that can get these decisions, these unanimous decisions, and they're constantly, getting the nod from the judges. It means one of two things: they have great gas tanks, and two, they don't really make mistakes. He's not making many mistakes out there, so that's something to just like pay attention to.
All right, so we just reconnected after some video issues, so hopefully y'all can see Shamel a little bit better now. And, talking about your opponent for the championship fight,
yeah,
he's undefeated, 4 finishes. I mean, you look at the name, Badman Dorziev, right? That, like, screams MMA, crazy wrestler, whatever you want to call it. So, like, is this your toughest opponent to date, do you think?
Oh, I've kind of thought about that, without even being asked this question. And I don't know. It depends on what you consider tough. Like I was saying, I don't really consider him to be dangerous or more dangerous than guys I've fought against before. So, and I think to me, if you're asking me personally as a fighter, I think the more danger you bring out there is what makes you tough. Not so much like how much skill and how technical you can be. Like, we're all taught the same techniques and the same skills. We're all working and training every day to do the same punches, kicks, knees, and elbows. So when I look at it from that point of view, I don't think that he's my toughest opponent, only because he's not the most dangerous. But if I'm talking about like his skill set and like maybe the cardio he brings out there, that's great, and then being that he has a wrestling background, if he were to try to get me down and hold me down, that's the only place where I can really see it just being like tough or like a problem that can't be solved. Like on the feet, the pace that he goes at, I don't see myself having any more issue there than I've had with anyone else. So, it's just about keeping the fight where I want it.
And, you're just talking about your styles there and how you think it's going to go. If a fan comes up to you and says, hey, Shamel, give me a prediction. How does this fight go down? Are you going to get wrestled or are you going to find a way to finish it on the feet? What do you say? How do you answer that question?
I think he's a mixed martial artist. I think that he's going to try to do both with me, and vice versa. Like I'm a mixed martial artist. Like, in my fights so far, it's always funny. We always laugh about it at home. My friend and family, because I get called a striker, and I do have the finishes I have by KO or TKO, and so yeah, so and I enjoy that. That's what I go out there to do. But if it came down to it, I'm good everywhere, and I think he's solid everywhere as well. Without giving away too much, I think the difference in this fight, or one of the differences in between the two of us that's going to mean something, is like how well can you mix it together. Like there's no room for like choppy MMA in this fight.
This is 100% a very skilled fight, and it sounds like you're kind of maybe teasing that your first pro submission is something you've been working at a little bit here, but we'll keep the lips sealed on that and we'll just wait and see. And the title fight, you win, you become the CFFC champ. We'll talk about, you're wearing the UFC shirt and hat, so we'll talk about that in a second. But before we get there, is there anybody in the CFFC or in any promotion you would like to defend that belt against?
Yeah, actually, I was talking to a friend about that today. Yeah, I would. There are a couple people in mind. There are definitely a couple people in mind. I have tabs open on my phone. Tapology, just sitting there, like seeing what they're doing and where they're at in their career. And I have at least, I want to say like 8 of them open, but like 3 of them make the most sense to me, or they have the most they motivate me the most from like my standpoint, and like where I am emotionally about these mentally and emotionally about these 3 fights and these 3 fighters. And so yeah, I don't want to look past this fight, but I will say, like, having the championship and having the belt and having that title, all before this, I have not picked any opponents. But once I, get this fight out of the way, when I have that title underneath me, I would like to be able to call out any one of those 3 and kind of just, yeah.
Can you give me one of them?
Oh, I can give you all of them. It's no
give me
problem.
all of them. Let's do it.
Yeah. So this is the order that I think that it would be important to or done by CFFC, the ones they would most likely to least likely of them making. So the first one would be Max Quiones.
He's on the card too.
Exactly. He's on the card too. Cool guy. We've even shared the locker room before our previous fights, because he was on the same card as me the last time we fought for CFFC. He got a great highlight win, knockout. I cheered him on. He came back to the locker room, and he kind of hit me with the get like me, like what you gonna do now? And so and then I had the performance I had, so that was cool. Yeah, but so him, I could see it being him just because of what he's doing now, and also we fought before as the amateurs, and I actually lost to him in the amateurs. So I think like CFFC would look at that one and be like, "Oh, this is perfect."
That's a Florida main event right there, bro.
Well, yeah, so that's the first one. Like in my mind, that's the one that they're going to probably lean towards the most. But then there's Adrian Garcia. Adrian Garcia is this kid I fought. He was 7-1 at the time. I was 4-1. He fighting out at Goat Shed, another Florida-based gym.
That was your
And
draw, right?
yes,
Yep.
yeah. So if not the first one, if he's still working his way up, Max Quinones, if Max Quinones is still working his way up, I could see it being Adrian just because he's another Florida-based guy. We already had a main event together, and it's just unfinished business. It was a draw. This time we could do it for a title, and I'd be looking to take him out. And then the last guy, these are just my top picks. The last guy would be Shamik Harvey, who I made my pro debut against.
Yeah.
The only loss on my record right now. So
want it back.
Yeah. So like I was saying to my buddy today when I was telling him about these picks, these are the picks that excite me the most, only because they feel like the ones that give me the most accurate assessment of how far I've come.
Yeah.
They're the ones like, oh, I've been out here with you before. So anything I do out here now will be like it would tell me directly how far I've come.
Hey man, that Max Quinones fight would be awesome. Love both you and Max. And then Shamik's on a 3-fight win streak I just saw too. So hey, I'm a fan of CFFC, obviously. I'm buying a ticket or the pay-per-view or whatever, no matter what. So you're getting me excited here. And I know you said you don't want to talk about, or you're not focused past this fight. You're very focused on this fight. Completely get that. But this is an interview, so I got to get a couple questions out of you about the future. And then you can go back to fully focusing. And my question here is, you can't pretend I wasn't going to ask this. You're wearing a UFC hat. You're wearing a UFC shirt. We all know your destiny is the UFC. So the question is, with the win here, that gets you the call, right?
I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good about I would even say I'm feeling so good about it that I could see it not even being a contender series call. I could see me getting right up into the mix. And that's only because of a couple of things I've been seeing lately and just what I've been around and listening to. You got this guy, what's his name? Josh Van. Josh Van, he's a kid from he's a young guy too. He used to fight for Fury. And I remember because I used to watch his fights sometimes because, obviously I'm a fan of the sport. He's at my weight class. I actually would have liked to fight him. But I saw him on Fury. He won their belt, and then he got called up to contenders and then filled in on a spot on this not this UFC card that just passed, but the one before this most previous one.
Oh, he fought Zalgas, right?
He fought, yeah, and who's actually a gym mate of mine here in Coconut Creek.
Oh yeah, you're at Jimagulas now.
Yeah. So he fought a teammate of mine. And so yeah, I tuned in for the fight, to cheer Zaglas on, and then realized it was Josh Van, and it was just crazy to me because I'm like, dang, I've been wanting to fight this guy on the regional scene, and then he's the whole point of that was he's 7-1, 7-1, and I don't remember how many finishes or whatever he has, but I'm just thinking if we're both, after this one, we're both 7-1. I'll be 7-1-1, so I'll technically have more experience.
Yeah.
And so I think a finish in this fight, especially if it is a KO, TKO, at the weight class that I'm at, it would be very special.
I think that would be more than enough to get the call. There's a lot of fighters right now who I am just any day now waiting to get the call. A lot of guys at CFFC, some Cage Warrior guys. I think 2023, 2024 is going to be a big year for prospects in the UFC. Hopefully you are one of them. And that being said, with all those implications, stakes on the line, fighting for the belt, is it safe to say this is the biggest, most important fight of your life so far? And real quick before you answer, I know you said that every fight you look at the same, you go in and prepare the same, you view it the same. It's a fight, but this one has to feel a little bit bigger, right?
I don't know. They all feel the same amount of big. I will say this though. Um, this one will feel like I've won fights recently, or in my pro career, and I won them, and I expected to win. I prepared to win. That's I didn't step out there to lose, right? So I won them, and it felt good, but it more so felt good for like the people around me, just that it made them happy. Like I knew what I was gonna do, but it was just cool to like do it in front of them and like prove like, yeah, this is like what I said was gonna happen. This
Mm-hmm.
like this is it, and but I, I've never felt as good about winning a fight yet as I have about, or as strongly or as powerful. I've never had that emotion about winning a fight as a pro as I had about losing my first one. So none of them have matched that level of emotion as losing. But I will say about this one, unlike the others, maybe is that this one will feel like a first step, like a first step in the right direction. Like all the other ones, I know that I had to do, and they were steps to make it here. But this one will feel like I I checked something off the list, like world champion. Boom! Like I'm in a history book or in some type of this is recorded, and like I've just done something that's like if I'm gone, this lives on forever. So, I could say that. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's an awesome perspective to have. And why did you end up going down Coconut Creek for this camp? What was the inspiration behind that change?
So being that I was at one of the sister gyms, American Top Team, Team Lima,
Yeah.
shout out those guys. I was able to come here and train a couple times, like two or three times, and I just got some really good work here. There are guys in my weight class at the highest levels of the sport.
Yeah.
And so I got to work with these guys, and I got to just see the gap, the gap in between myself and them, and just the work ethic, and just I got to see the gap. And I think like when you're a competitor and when you want to be the best in the world, there's certain things you can't forget once you're introduced to them. You can't like pretend you don't know. And so yeah, that's all it is. It's like I got to see the gap in between myself and these guys. And so I just decided the last time I came out here, I just decided to pack everything up, and I just drove like 9 hours on the 5th, I believe. Yeah, I just like drove 9 hours down here, pulled up to the gym, and I got into class. And so I just been here ever since. So yeah, this is where I'll be. This is where I'll be until the until I figure out what's next. And I love it here. So
Zach Kaufman, 4 ounces of freedom. You just did an interview with him. I saw you were training with like Pantoja and but like a bunch of other killer flyweights. So just name drop some of your new training partners and coaches.
Man, training partners. Well, Kyoji Horiguchi, he has
Noriguchi, yep.
yeah, he has his flyweight title bout coming up against Makoto Takahashi, actually. So it's so crazy how this fight game
Yeah,
goes.
the old CFFC champ.
Right, right. And I was actually asked to fight him. I accepted a fight against him before he vacated. Um so it was just crazy seeing like, dang, that's what he moved on to. So, good for him. Um yeah, and as you said, Pantoja's got his world title flyweight
A
belt
lot of
coming.
flyweight belts around, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've been able to like be around these guys at the like height of their camps and of their careers, like going for these big belts. Crazy enough, another guy that I've actually gotten to train with is Dustin Poirier.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. While he's preparing for
for his
a title bout as
BMF belt.
well. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just been crazy. I've been getting some crazy looks, just as like as far as training partners go and teammates, and then I've got to work with Mike Brown is a great guy. Steve Mako, Coach Steve Bruno, Perumpa. It's a lot of great coaches here. But yeah, I think more than the coaches, man, it's just the other fighters, the teammates you get to be around. These guys here are so great and so humble, So like I said before I came out here, I just drove out here. I don't have anything but my car and the clothes that I packed up and da da da. So like, you know, yeah, some days are harder than others, but the guys I've met here, that have like looked out for me, uh Christian Turner, he's a great up and coming prospect. I knew him actually from American Top Team Lima. But I came out here and he's looked out for me. Monty Agbana, he's actually fighting on the card with me, the CFFC July 20th.
Yeah,
Great
122.
guy. Whenever I've needed help, or just somewhere to crash, just to get out of the heat or whatever, and stuff like that. He has opened doors for me and stuff. Um, Mike Brown has looked out for me as well. Him and who's a real cool guy. Mike Brown's a real cool guy. Dustin Poirier, man, he's a cool guy. He
I
is
mean,
a
he
cool
seems like
guy.
it. Yeah.
Like really, like he's for me personally, it feels like I've just known him. Like he's just a cool guy, and it's not really hard to talk to him, work with him, da da da. And he's even gone to bat for me, you know, within the gym and kind of like help, tell them my situation and what I got going on, and look for ways that I could, get help. So he's a real cool guy. He's offered to help me, and yeah, so far, it's been just in the little bit of time that I've been here. It's definitely feels like a new home, and I'm creating my community. Yeah.
You ever heard the expression "burn the boats"?
No.
All right, it's a good one. It's the Vikings. I think that's where it originated. When they went to attack somewhere, they burn the boats. So they're either landing and conquering, or they're dying. They're not going back home. So that's kind of like
Yeah.
what you did, man. You showed up with your car and your stuff, and you said, "That's it, man. I'm here. I'm training. I'm winning a belt, or it's
Yeah.
do or die time."
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And things like that. I was telling my buddy today. We got on the phone and we were just talking about life, and I was just thinking like things like that. I love to go out there kind of with that with me, and it's because I look at some of these guys I've fought and that I'm going to fight, and some of them, they have their wife and their children and their house and their da da da, and that's their motivation. They're protecting that, right? They
Yep.
have that. It's something to protect, and that's what drives them. But like for me, when I see it, I'm like, well, I don't have none of that. Like you're good. When you leave here, you're gonna be fine. You have love and security and everything around you. Like you're gonna be good. Like when I go out there, it's for everything. Like so, I feel it's my edge right now.
And this is kind of a random one, just back to Coconut Creek. You ever train
Mhm.
with my boy Riley Palmer? You ever run into him down there?
Riley is a dog, man.
Love Riley, man. He's a
Yeah,
good kid.
Riley. I didn't know how good he was until recently.
It's his wrestling, dude. It's good.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. I didn't know how good he was. I mean, we've moved around a bit. But one day we were in the middle of I think Pedro Munoz. He was running a BJJ class. Another super cool down to earth guy.
Yeah.
Um, and he showed Pedro was showing something, and Riley added in like this variation of how to like hold someone down against the cage. It was so cold. I was like, oh yeah, this dude is different.
Yeah, he's cool. He started up at a gym near me, Team Taino, and I'm all tight with them. So yeah, nothing but love for Riley Palmer. Hope he's in your situation soon too, fighting for that belt, because he's a CFFC flyweight as well. And last ATT question, last question for me, really. Who's going to be in your corner? Because you got 3,000 killers in that gym, including coaches. So who's coming with?
For this one, like I said, I just got here, and now it's very different than the first day that I stepped back in here. But yeah, I had my coach from ATT Team Lima, Coach Brantley Fur, and I got another coach / trainer. Like nobody knows about him. I've been keeping that on the wraps. You know, he's like a secret weapon. But yeah, I got my buddy Darian Perry. He used to fight with me way back in the day, or be my teammate at a gym that I used to be at way back in the day. But he's been like my secret weapon, just like as far as like keeping my mental right, and keeping my boxing crisp. And then I'm gonna have my two training partners, my buddies since way back, high school wrestling partners, and one of them is also like my new and main training partner. Kirk Hudson, he used to be my high school wrestling team captain with me, co-captain. And then my buddy Bimi Sola Tobra, he's an up and coming MMA prospect. He's at 135, and he's killing it. And those guys are gonna be able to get down there with me where the coaches and trainers don't want to go. So, yeah.
And Shamel, before we get out of here, man, just want to give you the opportunity, as always, title fight. I see you've got a lot of fans, especially since that last finish, and you know, just a lot of eyes on this card. So that being said, anything you would like to say to everybody? If so, the mic is yours.
Oh man, it's what I always need to say in these situations. Just like, if you're listening to me, I just want you to know that I'm beyond grateful for you even just tuning into stuff like this, tuning into these interviews, tuning in to watch me fight. You all give me the strength that I need to keep doing this. And yeah, it's a sport which it feels selfish, or it feels individualistic, and you just going out there by yourself. But I promise you, I take all of you guys out there with me, and just the things that we talk about, and the energy that y'all give me I couldn't do it without it. So thank you.
Hey man, you're very humble, you're very skilled, and when it comes together, you become a motherfucking bad man. So Shamel Findley, my dude, thank you so much for the time. I can't wait for July 20th. And ladies and gentlemen, UFC Fight Pass CFFC 122. Don't miss the co-main event, because new coming at you.